Are we on? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights. Cameras.
This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Culture Daily it is, and I hope you're having a good time. Regardless as having that break in transmission, still we have the information. We've got the news for you, and great interview with Serial and the whole squad, full circle team, plus signees, plus VP for Columbia Records slash founder of Boo Vision. Yes, and of course the whole team here. Thank you so much as well. Cyril held that interview well. So ladies and gentlemen, if you want to watch that recap on that conversation, just jump onto our YouTube channel later tonight, plus 10 p.m. it will be also on the screens as well. Now we still have more conversations, and we've been celebrating our version of the whole hip hop at 50. And we've brought persons, individuals, stakeholders, who all help shape the hip-hop culture in Ghana as well. Before we even go into what's coming up next on the show, it's an exciting time to be on Yango. And at 3 Music, we want to help you get to your destination with so much ease. Now, just download the Yango app now and use the promo code 3Music to get 20% off 2 rides, and it's only for first-time users. So just use the promo code 3Music. You get that 20% off 2 rides, your first 2 rides. Now, it's made possible by 3 Music and Yango. Please note again that it's only for first-time users. So please, if you're already on the app, forget it. Only for the fresh cats. You get it, all right? Still got more information for you now. Discover a world of innovation, a world of luxury, and a world many of us dream about owning. It's a world of Bang & Olufsen. It's a true brand in the ever-evolving realm of high-end electronics you might love to own. Locate the showroom. It's in Accra, Ghana, of course. First floor, ground floor. I just keep saying first floor. Ground floor, Atlantic Towers. You find them on their wage passing day month here. You find Drewworthy equipment like home theater, speakers, headphones, TV sets, and soundbar products all released. Bang & Olufsen like no one else. All right, I'll tell you more about the rest later on at the show. Time check 9:45. Good morning if you're looked on plus 89.9 FM, and if you're on TV with us on 3 Music TV. Now, this morning we are honored to have 2 very important personalities join us on the show. When I saw him, I was like, oh my days, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. She has her head dipped into hip-hop. Now, she is the curator of the Hip Hop at 50 Ghana. Her name is Aretha Amma Sarfo-Kantanka. Now, she's here with us as well. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's welcome the whole squad into the studio. Welcome.
Thank you. Hip-hop, we in the building.
I know if we start a hip-hop conversation, we're not going to finish now. There's never enough time to ever finish. But let me just get straight to the point before I come with the throwbacks and the nostalgic conversations and where you've been, Kwaku, I haven't seen in a minute, and what's up and all that. Let's just cut straight to the chase on this one. What is the Hip Hop at 50 celebration like? What's going to happen? Give us details about this event.
Well, on Sunday, 27th August, at the National Museum of Ghana from 3 to 9. We're going to have artist talks. We're going to have industry talks. We're going to have a beautiful exhibition that's taken from the archives of Ghanaians at home and abroad.
Okay.
And just amazing stuff like Eric Coptic Matlock, he was a producer for Biggie. His platinum plaque is going to be there.
Wow.
We have DJ Kofi, who was He was a champion, the mixed champion in the UK. His championship jacket is going to be there.
Wow.
We have stuff from DJ Black, Reggie Rockstone, different people that's going to be part of the exhibition. And also a dedication to our wonderful Rab Bakari, may he rest in peace. Yeah. And also Mums, who was on HBO Oz, but he happened to have been in Ghana to do a documentary with me in 2008. And it was his first and only time, and he also passed away recently. So there's going to be a dedication to him as well. But we're also going to have DJs all day long, as well as graffiti wall and 2 great films. One of the films is Living the Hip Life, which is about Ghana.
Okay.
It's about hip life in Ghana. And
first time premiering?
No, I think they have it here before, but a lot of people don't know about it.
Oh.
But the other film is also, it's called Hip Hop: The New World Order, which is basically covering hip hop all over the world, from Cuba to Japan to basically everywhere in the world.
Wow.
Where hip hop is. So it's going to be a great day of lots of events happening. So there's something for everybody, and we invite everybody to come and celebrate.
Again, more details. Which day again?
27th. Sunday. From 3 to 9 p.m.
Okay.
And if you go to Accra Art Week on Instagram or Culture Curators Ghana, all the information is there.
Is it free?
It's free to enter.
Okay.
But for the exhibition, you have to pay, and also for the films. But
Okay,
the rest
somebody might be
is all
asking
free.
how much for the exhibition.
For the exhibition, it's 100 Ghana. And then if you pay that, you also get the films. But if you just want to see the films, it's 50 Ghana.
Awesome. We've been having conversations about documenting our stories, and sometimes you're looking for a particular song, or you're looking for a particular instance. I'm sure if I dig back into early times of Kwaku, if I type, I see some collaborations and some music and stuff on there. But we've been talking about documentation a lot. Was it difficult trying to secure some of the things you were trying to exhibit?
Yes. Very much so. From the National Archives, it's like a lot of things are missing, so, and then even tapping into Ghanaians themselves. You people are long. You all are long. But it's so important for us to make sure we keep our memorabilia, document our stuff all the time, because things like this happen. And then you're like, wow, what do I have?
Quickly, do we blame ourselves for not having stuff like this? Hip hop, maybe not necessarily being a Ghanaian culture. You lived in a time and space where early rap groups, were trying to push the agenda of hip hop in Ghana. In that very same seat, persons who such a complain about how the Ghanaian did not to embrace it too much, because we had our own strong culture, but there was a global culture. It was being spoken of, practiced. It was a religion. It is a religion, and we had a certain sort of stereotype mindset with regards to what hip hop is like and how people, project it. What has it been like for you as well, being part of this culture, trying to relive these memories again?
I feel like it's been more vindicating than anything else, because when we started back in the day doing what we were doing, it was like, hip hop was it was the voice of the struggling, the voice of the youth, the voice of the people who just wanted the disenfranchised.
Yeah.
So it's basically poor people music, right? But
You just had to be so blunt.
Yeah. But in Ghana, it was the privileged who had access to hip hop.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reverse.
It was the reverse.
That about phone.
So if you are one of the Dadaba and you were making that type of music, then it means you're making poor people vagabond music. And we also look down on our own traditional music. We've never really accepted high life or musicians or creators in general, because we were taught that if you didn't go to school and become a lawyer or a doctor or the traditional
white collar jobs, yeah.
Then it means that you're illiterate. You understand me? We were taught to become this. So in a way, it is our fault, but it's not our fault, because that was our socialization. So for me, hip hop being 50, I've been in this thing probably over 30 years. So for me, it's just, we found ourselves.
Yeah.
And I mean, talking drums, you know what I'm saying? And hip hop is talking drums.
You and who in talking drums?
It was me, Panji, Kwaku. And there was another guy who was actually a drummer called Symbol. But then he dropped out like later on. So it was just me, Panji, Kwaku.
Appreciating. Sure.
I mean, now that he talks about talking drums, I just want him to touch on the beef they had with NFL.
Oh yeah.
NFL was here. This week, I think.
Oh yeah, I seen that in
Just from your perspective, we're just excited to hear about the beef.
I think what the beef was the fact that. So Eddie Blaze said something, right? He made it seem like he's an Avena boy.
Yeah, boy, right?
You know, our beef actually stemmed from the fact that Eddie Blaze went to Lincoln. Yeah, Lincoln Community School.
Wait, let me rephrase.
You don't say that story.
8 Mile Eminem. He says that. So his real name is Clarence.
Clarence, yeah. Rabbit. Yeah, he went to Lincoln, and we went to GIS.
Okay.
The privileged were the ones who had access.
Okay.
So it was like, now it's only the privileged that are battling the privileged. And already we felt that their school was yawa anyway. So it's like, who's this fanboy trying to act like? But he would run with the Aveno boys, Jake and them. You know, they were like, oh, these Dadaba boys trying to rap. But it was, so it was a beautiful thing. It was a healthy relationship. It was a healthy competition that almost became unhealthy.
Oh my days.
You know, but the thing is,
East Coast,
and that's
West
why
Coast.
it's important hip hop is 50 right now. Because what we were doing when we were like 13, 14, like we're matured, we're older, we understand better. But at that time, at that case in point, whenever we'd meet, it'd be on.
Yeah.
Because that's what hip hop was. But now he's my business partner.
Yeah.
We work together, and we've always worked together. And peer pressure.
Yeah.
Kwame Fachi was
Yeah.
taboo.
Yeah.
Him too, it was on. Him too, it was on. But Kwame Fachi was on a different level. I'm not gonna air out his stuff, but Kwame was a tough guy.
Yeah.
He was a real tough guy.
Yeah.
I mean, the first time he tried to battle us, I didn't even know what a freestyle was.
Wow.
He'd just come from New York. And he started taking apart our clothing and stuff. I'm like, this one, how can
Why's he
write
insulting
this?
us?
Yeah. How can he write this thing right here? And
Right
there's
now.
a pen, paper.
Oh my God.
It was at like Globe Cinema or something.
Wow.
Look at
And
that.
he was just, and it was so, I was like, wow, what is this guy doing? It was later on, like a couple weeks later, they were like, yo, this guy, he just creates words and sentences from his head.
Look at that.
And then we realized later on that it was a freestyle.
Yeah.
And that is what freestyle was. You know, so we come from the era of trial and error. You know? In America, they did the trial and error with Kool Herc and all of them. And then when it came to Big Daddy Kane and Large Professor and those guys, they knew how to work the decks. They knew how to work the... Charlie, even back then, scratching was a problem. That's why DJ Kofi's so important, because scratching there, we did... Even using an MPC 60, we were the only ones with an MPC 60 in Ghana.
Wow.
And even that one, we didn't own it. It was somebody just liked gadgets. He liked gadgets. Bought all this equipment, and it was just there. And he didn't know how to use it. He didn't know what it was. And Panji, being a scientist, was like, I'm going to figure this out. And he did. And we were some of the first people to start sampling.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, like sampling music. I think the first people we sampled from was Notorious B.I.G., One More Chance, the original, and Anoma Usibisa, and we put it together. Because we used to run with Mac Tonto back then. You know, so
May he rest in peace.
may he rest in peace. So like when I do what I do for all these people that have come and gone.
Yeah.
And has laid down a legacy that now we are fighting over. It's kind of sad,
This matter.
but it's growing pains, right?
Hopefully, bro.
Art
Now,
appreciation.
if we have anything to say
Yeah.
about it,
Art appreciation in itself is something that I feel that you have to. It's for us who did visual arts, probably have a better eye to it and appreciate it a bit more.
oh, you did visual arts?
Yeah, I did visual art. Proud one. Proud.
I can tell by the way you talk. Yo.
Proud one. I keep preaching and preaching and I keep putting the face of my science student. And now there are people are cooking jollof and putting it on Instagram and saying they are cooking jollof and now they are showing and saying fashion design and they did science in school.
What's going on?
They're telling us that we our courses be our.
Not serious to
But here they are. Now pushing fashion and let's promote
selling jollof on Instagram.
And jollof on Instagram. That even kills me on the jollof on Instagram. Like, yo, they do jollof and then they did.
Can you imagine?
And go like, order for more. They did chemistry in school.
But you know why, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, intrinsically, like our comparative advantage globally is the fact that we create.
Yeah, we create.
We are creators. We're innovators. Nobody can say that when you hear that the black man created the phone and all this, necessity is the father's innovation or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Even as we are here today, from 1957, we were created by somebody.
Yeah.
That didn't look like us. We speak somebody's language who doesn't look like us, and all of these things we're socialized in a way by somebody that doesn't look like us. So at the end of the day, we're like experiments in ourselves. So we're always going to experiment to find out who the real us is. And whether you do science, and the funny thing is science and arts go hand in hand.
Yeah, but the science people feel like they're on top of the world. They're on top of the world. Yeah, please let them be.
Oh, Charlie, mention my name, bro.
Let them be.
Talk to you direct.
Let them be.
Talk to him direct.
Talk to me direct.
It's
like, what is going on?
So that
What
brings.
do you do for school?
Science student. Science student.
So
That brings
science. I want
us
that shit.
to art appreciation and how that has been either a plus or a minus to preparation of such an event, because you have to understand, appreciate, love to be able to come there. When you come there, it's one thing to be there, it's another thing to come there and experience what will happen. We saw what happened with Jay-Z's the
museum.
From the way it was positioned, whether you love art or not, unless you don't know music or you haven't heard of Jay-Z, even if you haven't, I mean, you get a sense of belonging, or something is calling you in there. We have big stories in Africa, big stories in Ghana, legends, that you're displaying the stuff there. How has it been, plus or minus, with or positive, negative, in preparing yourself to host people? Do you think you're going to get the numbers? Do you think they will understand the culture? Do you think they'll appreciate it? I'm just trying to get into your mindset.
People are now getting it. Let me tell you, when I first started, I started this idea of doing this in January. And it took a long time. Just literally, we put this together in 1 month.
Wow.
Because since the museum just came on board like less than a month ago.
The National Museum.
Yeah, they just came and big up to Kingsley. He's the youngest museum director we've ever had, and that's really the only reason why this is going down. Because if it was somebody else, it probably wouldn't happen.
What are you trying to do?
Exactly.
You put a rapper, sir. Sing one song for me, let me see.
Yeah. So he got it. He understood, and he was like, okay, cool. I'm going to give you this opportunity to let you do this. But I was born in New York. I was born hip hop. While you guys were living the hip life, I was living hip hop.
Right.
So for me, it is natural. Like all the stuff that's going on in Brooklyn Museum and Brooklyn Library, all that stuff is all my people sending me, oh, you're missing. I'm like, no, I'm not missing. I'm doing mine here.
Exactly.
And I thought it's about time that Ghana. Part of the reason I did this, because I've heard so much complaints. We all complain so much. How come, everybody's talking about Nigeria, Afro beats, and they're not mentioning Ghana, and Ghana this, Ghana, and I'm like, but what are y'all doing? What are you doing to tell your own story? You cannot fault somebody for telling their story if you're not telling yours.
Truth.
So this is how I sold it to all the people that are now coming on board and saying, and I'm glad, because now everybody is getting it and they're actually excited about it. So I'm happy for that.
Let me ask this question. I'm throwing it to both of you. It's a real tough one. Maybe the answer will just determine. But is hip-hop threatened in Africa?
Absolutely not. Threatened in how?
Think it again before you come again. Is hip hop music threatened in Africa, as in its existence, consumption, acceptance, mindset, practice, all the things that speak to what we used
Because
to
of
do
the
with
Afrobeat
hip hop?
craze, basically.
Yes, I'm coming. Yeah, exactly. Well, I did not want to give this, give it off. I
No,
wanted to
but
mention that.
I noticed that they
but I
were
wanted
trying
to.
to find-
Yeah.
Okay, all right. It's we've had leaders like Whiskey speak about rap and the fact that and we've seen. I mean, the latest. Which one did it even come from? We're talking about these record labels and who was saying that? Who was
Jamaica
saying
and
that?
everywhere. Everybody's.
Who was saying that these labels seem to be signing more singers than rappers, so rappers need to up their game. We spoke about it recently.
Yeah,
I mean,
I forgot about it. Yeah.
Ebro said.
Yeah, Igbo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ebro was saying
Ebro,
something to the
yeah.
effect.
But the
Yeah.
thing we need to
You put it
realize, hip hop is a
not-
culture,
Yeah.
and it's something that is evolved. I grew up on hip hop when it was the Big Daddy Kane, the Biggie, those Rakim, that era.
I am going to argue this out and see if you change your mind. But before I do that, though, for those who are listening to us on Plus 89.9 FM, you know how we do. Like, we have to just part ways at this time. Yes, to make way for the next show as well. But we're still live on TV as well, all the way till we're done. And don't forget, if you want to watch it, for those who are on Plus, if you want to watch this conversation back tonight, 10 p.m., and also on our YouTube, on socials, we are streaming on Facebook. And on that note, have a great weekend. We'll see you out there. But for TV, wait, we're still here. Let me bring it back to you again.
Y'all are
So I'm
wild
saying,
though.
there's-
Y'all are coordinating TV and radio. Yeah, it's very different from my time.
So
Multitasking.
so you have all these labels looking out for more, singers. The Afrobeat conversation is a lot of singing. Hip hop, the dress code, the look and feel is being adapted into the Afrobeat space, into the singing space. It's like we're stealing a certain culture and making it ours and redefining it. So it's somebody who are born now in 20 who's born now, probably maybe about from 10 years ago, who's now growing and understanding music and the culture and everything, is growing into an Afrobeat space.
Yes. Right.
Does not know the hip hop conversation that you have
Oh,
to
absolutely.
celebrate it.
Right.
So I ask again, is hip hop music being threatened?
No, I still say no because I feel, again, it's evolving. It's been evolving for so long. I mean, you have reggaeton, which is, they see themselves as hip hop as well, and it blew up all over. It evolves from different nations, from different eras. I mean, I grew up in hip hop where it was very much about the MC. You know,
So I'm again narrowing it down. In Africa,
you want me to say
Do
it's
we have-
threatened, but I won't.
can we have
know what?
any top 3 African rappers?
Let me
Yes, we do.
I mean, well,
I think so. They might
African
blitz
rappers.
manifest.
Yes.
Hey, they're out there.
Okay.
mean,
Yes. Yeah. We'll say Nasty C.
That's a
We'll
lot.
say Sark. Yeah.
Absolutely.
As compared to the impact like the Burners, the Davidos, and co, who are filling these arenas.
But they're not. Do they call themselves rappers though?
No, I'm just saying that. So they they sing.
Yeah.
So I'm asking the question again in Africa: is hip hop music, because it's important for us to celebrate hip hop at 50 and remind people of what hip hop has done.
The
The impact.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But at the same way, and in the same
future of
vein,
hip-hop.
are people understanding the reason why we need to celebrate it in our African space now, to the Gen Zs, to the millennials?
And that's why we're doing this, because they need to understand, and of course they don't.
What's your take on this?
It's the narrative. Okay, so let's say follow my thought process, right? So the life cycle began with the drum, right? We exist on a beat, right? It's the heartbeat, right? So talking drums was a way for tribes to communicate amongst themselves. Back before colonialism, all of that, right? Colonialism comes and takes us away, right? Those drums keep playing until they find a home in hip hop, right? Now it's become a hybrid sound, right? That's hip hop. And then eventually some people pick up that flavor from hip hop and bring it to Africa, and that becomes a hybrid sound of that drum.
Okay.
And then that drum manifests as revolutions. It manifests into what we see as Afro beats right now, which is a drum that has been curated into a sound that our brothers and sisters can understand out there. So it's cyclical. It was the drum meeting the drum, meeting the drum. Now the drum is actually communicating with one another. So really, it's about communication at the end of the day. Like, you got to know your history. You have to know about Kwame Nkrumah. You have to know about the foundations of Ghana, why we are who we are, to understand why we do what we do the way we do what we do, right? So at the end of the day, it's like we are one people. Whether you want to call it reggaeton, you want to call it Afro beats, you want to call it this. In Afro beats, Burna Boy will be flowing in a certain way, and then like if you really break it down, it sounds like he's rapping.
You go down to the room.
He was actually a rapper.
I know I just might be the only person in this room that might say this differently, but I am talking violence into this. But I'm talking about talking about me seeing maybe like a rap group, or I'm talking about seeing a rap group version of P Square or Keche. Or R2Bs, a rap group version of them.
I think that's one of your
so
best.
that's what I'm just saying that
they're rapping with a melody. So wait, okay, so Drake.
They're singing with a melody.
Okay, so Drake.
That's Drake. That's
just like
America and Canada.
That's just like saying Drake is threatening hip hop.
No. So I'm saying in Africa.
Because Drake is doing exactly
specific.
what is happening in Africa.
Yeah.
But do we even know ourselves in Africa?
No.
There's plenty of people in South Africa.
I'm bringing this
doing
this argument.
Yeah, Kwaku.
This is the reason I'm bringing this argument that we it's clear that I wasn't born, but hip hop started in Africa.
Yeah.
We've had so many stories about talking drums, how we're communicating with drums.
And some Americans get mad at Aya for saying that, but
I can. That's another debate.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Bro, you should get mad and take it to the back.
That's another debate that we need to have. So it was our thing. Well, we lost it. It was refined. It was done. It became a language for the streets.
We didn't lose it. It just became another hybrid of. It just evolved.
Yes.
It's evolution.
From caterpillar to butterfly.
But there's
Exactly.
certain fundamentals.
Our problem is, and it goes back to colonialism, we're afraid to grow. We're afraid to grow because of the pain that comes with growth. Because once you start to grow, that means that you've embraced who you are, and sometimes who you are might not be too comfortable. You might not be too comfortable with who you are and what you've become, because it might completely like break down your whole world as far as what you thought, who you thought you really were. I had to unbecome myself to become myself. That's why you haven't heard from me. I had to forget about all the downloads that I got and re-download and reconnect and all of that stuff. You get me? So it's just growth. Like, look at the other genres, man. You have rock, you have punk rock. Look at what happened.
All like
with
good extensions
Soft,
of hip hop.
soft rock, alternative rock, blah blah blah.
Look at what happened to the Atlanta boy in Nas X.
Yeah, Nas X. Yeah.
You'll never see a black boy rapping on a country track,
beat, yeah.
but they doing it, and it's country music. You know, there's room for everybody. We're creators, and because we're born in the image of the Creator, there's no cap. There's no extent to which we can create. So however you feel like creation should go on, creates, and it will become something else. But there was a father and there was a mother before you came into existence.
On the back of that then, what impact are you hoping that Hip Hop at 50 Ghana should establish here or make?
For me personally, I'm hoping that it actually gets us back into ourselves. As Ghanaians, to actually recognize and celebrate ourselves and stop all this infighting and worrying about Nigeria, this. No, talk about yourselves. Talk about what you are doing and have done and will do. You know, focus on our own stories and let's tell them, because it's part of the bigger culture. And that's the only reason I'm doing this.
Well, I am excited about it.
Let me just add this, right? There's have you ever heard of Oku Ampofu? Dr. Oku Ampofu, the late. He was born in 1908, so
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
That was before our time.
Because I was wondering what
I mean, that's a few years after Yas and Toda. They're like, yo, that's
I like that. Touche. I mentioned him to say that, and I'm gonna let you research it, whoever he is, and they feel like they need to. But he, when you remove Kwame Nkrumah, I believe that he's one of the people that's there, and he redefined what creation was to Africa. Like his sculptures are in like national museums in America right now, coveted. But he's also a doctor. You understand? Also a musician, also a drummer, also an herbalist. Mampong Center for
Research.
Yeah. You know? So we don't celebrate these people. And these are the moments where these names need to come up. So we go back. The ring I'm wearing is Sankofao. Go back. Go back. Once we go back, we can find our way forward. But if we are here, we'll always stagnate and have the silly conversations about who did this first and who did that first. We was all in the room. Some people that were outside are making money from what was going on in the room, and the people in the room are too busy fighting and starving and taking food away from each other's families. So let's Charlie, we're bigger than this. We are the first. We were the first to gain independence rights. Can we live up to
And
this?
the first to really push hip hop in Africa.
In Africa, yes.
So
Something
we
that
need to
don't
recognize
talk about
that.
it, yeah.
The
There
gateway.
are books. When I was doing the research, I'm gathering all the books on hip hop, and there's only about maybe 4 or 5 books on hip hop in Africa, and 2 of them are specifically about hip life.
Wow.
So that says a lot right there.
Wow.
So
And
Ghana,
I think Ghana did a very good job. I mean, big shout going out to Reggie as well. And all the people behind the name Hip Life, because the story is still unclear. We hear part of the story in London, part of the story in Ghana. I said it first. I mentioned it. I thought about it first.
drama day,
I'm
drama
waiting for the
day.
right person to. Quick, what would be your version of that story?
Oh, hip life?
Yes. How is that?
Well, all I know is I came back from America. I think you people can relate. Did somebody go to university primary here?
Yeah.
Thank you. Charlie, they were like, you're slanging too much, you're slang. You go, Daki, you are just slanging like that. So there was a lot of pushback. And for me, I started making the hybrid music that I was making, blending what I was, the foreign and the local,
Yeah.
just to express myself so people would understand who I am and who I was at the time. So just to break the stereotypes around me. That's why I made the music. So it was an expression of me, just like how hip hop was an expression of the voiceless. So for me, anything else that came after is just, that's their story. And they got to go with their story. But I know that my story was to help me relate to her story and bring her story closer to me and help you hear some music and then say, Charlie.
I know you know you
And
like me, Charlie.
You get me.
Because I came along and snatch your wife, Charlie.
Yeah,
Now you my face, you fight. Please, before we let especially Kwaku go, he has to give us. He has to throw us back to Talking Drum days.
Yeah.
Oh,
Any
this
verse
guy.
of any song of Talking Drums. At that time,
I think he needs to also share with us the creation of Talking Drums. I know you did mention that you had Panji and yourself, but how did Talking Drums pop off as a group? Where did he start from?
Talking Drums started. Okay, so the beginning to Talking, it is the same metamorphosis, right? We started in like 1989, 90 as Chief in the Trap.
Chief in the Trap.
Chief and the Trap.
Chief in it. Okay, Chief in the
Yeah.
Trap. Okay.
Where I was called Ochami
Okay.
because I chose the name because I felt like I was getting messages from God and translating it to the people, right? And then because GIS, the nature of parents, their work, they were in and out of Ghana, so some people started leaving. And then we became smaller, and it became Tribe Brothers. And then from Tribe Brothers, everybody else left, and it was just me and Abiku. And then I was like, yo, I think we've been messing with the drum for a long time. We should probably call ourselves Talking Drums. And I feel like it was a very spiritual thing because it just came from nowhere. But I know that everything happens for a reason. And now, if you go back in time, Bob Marley's Tough Gong, his son Damien is Junior Gong. Hip hop in America came from, a lot of hip hop in America came from the Jamaican immigrants' children who were probably listening to Bob Marley and them people. So it's just cyclical. It's revolutions. But yeah, we became Talking Drums, and then Panji wasn't a part of it at the time. We lost a show. Yeah, we lost that show miserably, whereas we were supposed to win. Everybody was screaming our song, and that was what brought Panji to us. So even in our demise, that was our blessing. The gift and the curse. Jigga. So as far as I'm concerned, hip-hop is 50. As far as we've come in Ghana, us doing this now, and as difficult as it's been for Aretha, it's a lot that she's gone through has been cursedly, but it's still a gift. It's cyclical. It's revolution. I mean, I was born in revolution, so.
Our time is fast spent, I know, but pardon us. When the conversations is good, we can't let go. But it's still.
If they want more, they should come.
It's giving my bars.
They should come for the events.
Exactly.
The events. I want to see a bar from back in the day. I have barely like a second to go.
That's if he remembers. Do you remember your verse on the Cypher in 2010, the BET Cypher?
Please, tell us
long. Hey, BET Cypher.
Then how much more even talking?
I don't say like that's it.
I remember my
I
first rap.
inhale oxygen, fuel and respiration. ATP2 energy stimulating. Neurowebity creation, hallucinating. Can't understand, they be debating, formulating. Spider web within your mental, detrimental. Be now the Negro cerebral, monumental. My brain cells between the dental. Spitting tech 9-led verbs, I'm homicidal, traumacidal. The Ochami be the title. Your statistic, I hit quick between the vital. Anayo, late you with the rhyme flow recital. Reincarnate, now they worship me like the idol.
Hey,
Kwaku Obama.
Yes, I can.
Kwaku Obama.
Thank you so much.
So what, fella? Hello, look at me now. I'm student. What, fella?
Kwaku Obama.
I'm student.
You
What,
have to be
fella?
there. You have to
What,
be
fella?
there. You had to be there.
I know, but we'll see you all next week. But make sure you're there. 27 place to be again. The museum.
National
Museum.
National
Museum.
Museum. I know I'm ignorant on where is the National Museum located?
You don't know where it is.
Is
It's
it
not opposite
It's
Cleaver House
on
still.
Barnes
Is it-
Road,
yeah.
2 Barnes Road.
Cleaver House, right?
Opposite Cleaver House.
See,
Opposite Chico.
I know addresses.
Okay. Americans. I know that it's
Yeah,
American.
I don't want to go off his ear.
It's just 2 blocks away, and I'm like, eh?
Oh wait, no. I mean, you're talking
It's around Movenpick.
Movenpick.
Like
Yeah,
Movenpick
okay,
area.
same place.
Same place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Charlie.
This is why.
When I cannot see, when I
This
cannot
is why this is
I
necessary.
cannot remember some jet fighter. The jet fighter.
that place.
So I'm really just
So
like
I'm sure you know trust me, there are hundreds of thousands of Ghanaians who don't know where it is. But so now you know. Now you know.
Oh, probably
Yeah.
99.9.
0.9%. Yes.
Condom efficiency.
Yeah, so make sure you go check it out. Please, the website again. If they want
You
more
can go
information.
to Accra Art Week on Instagram or Culture Curators GH on Instagram as well, and all the information is there.
There. All right, thank you so very much. And we are out. Our time is up and far spent. We'll catch you same time next week right here on Culture Daily. And we are live.